Joining us now to break all this down is Jim Martin from the 60 Plus Association. Hey, Jim, good to have you today.
Well, glad to be with you, John.
So, Jim,
I must say you summed up where we're going quite nicely there. I would add one other thing.
Yes.
We have a strict adherence to a wonderful document, the Constitution, of the 60 Plus Association.
Okay, I got before we get into it, I got a question here. I got a text question from one of our callers with a big exclamation on it. Mike in Cape Charles, Virginia says, can you ask Jim to explain the difference between AMAC and 60 Plus?
Well, there's not a lot of difference. We both come from a conservative viewpoint, unlike the AARP, which is left of center, and I'm being nice to them when I say that. They're far left. But Dan Weber and I work together often with AMAC and 60 Plus. One major difference, they are selling insurance products. We have not been doing that. As a matter of principle, we like to say, going back to a major difference between the AARP and 60 Plus, is the AARP is selling products to seniors. We're selling a philosophy. As you said, John, limited government, less taxes.
All right, Jim, so let's get to the insurance product that AARP sells. And we've covered this before, but I think you can probably explain it better because the AARP is in bed with Obamacare, right? So they're opposing the Trump administration's any changes to Obamacare. And one reason they're opposing it isn't because they stand for seniors, but it's because they will lose millions of dollars in one of their insurance products. That's the real reason they're opposing it. It has nothing to do with helping seniors or not. Can you explain that, Jim?
Yeah, I'm licking my chops, John, because quite frankly, you said it very nicely. Obamacare, which they fought for back in 2009 and 2010, and they clearly were looking to lose money. The Medigap insurance, they sell those policies, and like you said a minute ago, there's a high cost of these things. What we should be concentrating on, of course, is looking for reforms that lower out of cost by requiring insurance companies, the insurers, to share the discounts that they negotiate. And when I say insurers, Obamacare, when it was proposed, the AARP was all out for it. Why? Because they sell insurance not under their name. They use other companies, but their brand name. They get almost a 5% commission or discount or rebate, whatever you want to call it, for every Medigap policy that is promoted by different insurance companies out there. So it's a scam. It's hypocrisy at its worst when they talk about they're representing seniors. Senior citizens, financially strapped seniors, buy into the programs that they offer, thinking they're getting the best deal. Then they read later that the AARP, as you said earlier, they make millions of dollars selling these products. Just let me give you just one instance. One year they made $250 million from their dues-paying members, but guess what? They made almost 3 times that much, $650 million in monies that they received in lending their name to private insurers. John, that's a lot of profit for a nonprofit.
That's unbelievable. So I mean, basically, when the AARP now is going out and saying, hey, as an organization that is supposed to represent seniors, these are the provisions. You know, we oppose dismantling Obamacare because it's bad for seniors. Well, the real reason is it's bad for them and their bottom line because they're scamming the seniors with this product, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Back when, let me tell you, John, back when Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, as they called it, we started calling it the Unaffordable Care Act. Why? Because they said you can keep your doctor, not. The cost will go down, not true. And back then, Nancy Pelosi, you'd think she learned her lesson back then when seniors were up in arms against this proposal all the way back in 2009 before it finally passed in 2010. here she is again with another Pelosi plan. Yogi Berra said, deja vu all over again. Here we go again. One time back in that fight, when the AARP was siding with Obamacare, we found out later through email chains, senior citizens that belonged to the AARP were voting 14-1 against the Obamacare plan. And some of the officials at AARP sent emails over to the Obama White House saying, we need to change our messaging. It is not working. It failed to work then. It's failing to work now because seniors will be a huge voting bloc in the 2020 election, just like it was back in 2010.
It's just insane, man. It is unbelievable that, and nobody has the courage in the media to bring this out because everybody's afraid of the big bad AARP. I really hate this organization because it's not about representing seniors. It's about representing them, their lobbyists, the money they make. Now, let's just talk about what did you call it? The Medicaid cap insurance. Yeah. So the Medicare cap insurance. I mean, on paper, it's not a bad deal, and I'm involved in it because I've been doing that for my mom since she got on. She's 91. I think she got on Medicaid Medicaid when she was 65. How old is it? What's the age for that?
Right. Yes.
Right. So
it's going up a few months at a time now, but still it's 60, just like Social Security.
Yeah, it's like 65.
They're raising the age limit 4-year-olds.
Right. So she's 91, so that's what, 65, 75, 85, 91. So 26 years I've been paying this thing for her. And it started out, it was like $90 a month. I specifically remember it. And now it's like $3.90 or $4 something. But they make a tremendous amount of money on that, right? And that's part of the whole Obamacare thing. So how are they in a position to be an advocate when they're advocating for themselves?
Well, until 60 Plus Association came along and Dan Weber with AMAC, they had a free rein when they got before Congress, just like there are a couple of hearings that are going to go on later today, John, about the Pelosi plan.
Right.
And we're going to be there to show the members of Congress that the AARP does not represent all seniors.
Right.
I started this organization, as you said earlier, to give seniors another voice in the nation's capital. We make it very clear that we come from a right-of-center philosophy. We don't try to hide that. Until we came along, the AARP never talked about their philosophical bent. But, quite frankly, I came here, John, as a newspaper reporter back many, many years ago when John Kennedy was in the White House. And someone said to me one day, Jim, we need to start an organization to oppose the AARP. They're so liberal. I said, wait a minute. Most seniors out in the 50 states, as you get a little older, you get a little bit more conservative. My friend said, that's true. But their leadership in the nation's capital is extremely left. They're for bigger government, higher taxes, while they talk to seniors about, we're out there fighting for you. Not true. So we did start this organization to give seniors another voice in the nation's capital. And quite frankly, we're going to be there today to let these members of Congress in these different committees that are hearing the Pelosi plan, if you will. And again, the Pelosi plan, John, if I could summarize it in a couple of words, the Pelosi plan, quite frankly, is going to impose an unprecedented level of government intrusion, if you will, into the marketplace, and it's going to deliver an absolutely crushing blow to medical innovation. And after all, innovation is what produces these life-saving treatments and cures and medicines that we seniors depend on. And so, we seniors no longer, as someone put it rather ruefully, we seniors no longer conveniently die at around 60 or 65. We're living longer, more productive lives, thanks, quite frankly, to a lot of these wonderful drugs, miracle medicines, if you will, that are now in the marketplace.
Jim Martin, he's with us. He's the founder and chairman of the 60 Plus Association. That's a non-partisan seniors advocacy group. He's going to be on Capitol Hill today testifying about the Pelosi plan. I'm going to get a little more into that Jim, in a minute. Stay with us. I'm going to go to a quick word from our sponsors. When I get back, what is the Pelosi plan, and why does Jim oppose it with his 60-plus association? And I'll be right back with more of Jim Martin. Keep it right here on the John Fredericks Radio Network, live in Swamp, Washington, D.C. Jim Martin with us, founder, chairman, 60-plus association, and rightly so, bringing to light of the fact that AARP, who promotes itself as the number one seniors advocacy group in America, basically a lot of what they do is to line their own pockets, and they're aligned with the far left wing in the United States. That has been their leadership forever. So, Jim, you're going to Capitol Hill today. What exactly is the Pelosi plan?
Well, in a nutshell, the Pelosi plan is going to impose more government control over your health plans. It's going to lead to tax increases, huge tax increases. But on top of that, the worst part of it's going to lead to price controls. And price controls over and over again has been proven that price setting leads to delays in treatment and, quite frankly, longer waits for treatments. And so it's just it's going to put a lot of companies out of business that right now are out there using venture capital, if you will, to help these companies discover newer, innovative medicines for seniors, but for all walks of life, not just seniors. But the fact is, here's a little known fact. And by the way, I don't speak for the pharmaceutical company. I don't speak for the generics. They both have a role to play. But the fact is, a lot of companies will spend years and years not making a profit because they've lost a lot of money in other medicines they've tried to bring to the marketplace. There's millions of jobs at stake if these companies are put out of business. And quite frankly, the government should not have a role in determining our health care. It's putting the government in charge. It reminds me of the great communicator, Ronald Reagan, what he once said. When they said government is the solution, Reagan said, no, government is the problem. It's that simple. And the Pelosi plan is Obamacare all over again. John, I don't remember the exact quote, but you remember that famous Pelosi quote back when they were talking about that 2,000-page Obama?
Yeah, she said you have to back it and vote for it to see what it is.
Yeah, exactly. We got to pass it to see what's in it.
We got to pass it to see what it is.
And then one of the Democratic congressmen on the committee said, what arrogance. He said, well, read the bill. We have staff that does that for us. Well, senior citizens are up in arms then, and yes, we're up in arms again about these attempts to take over our health care. And yes, that's a huge issue, obviously health care, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwaters. Health care in this country, the United States is the most productive country in the world. We're the global leader, if you will, in developing these life-enhancing, quality of life-enhancing miracle medicines, if you will. And if you start taking away the incentives to make a profit, if you will. By the way, profit has become a nasty word in the nation's capital under the Democrats.
It's crazy.
So we've got a big fight ahead of us, but we're looking forward to it. We've done it before. And see, going back to back in 2009 when seniors started appearing in town halls opposing, the debate was starting to heat up. I used to refer to the AARP in interviews. There's what we call an AARP two-step.
Right.
AARP was for Obamacare before being against it, and at 60-plus, that's what we call the two-step. One step forward by the AARP before they're called on the carpet, then two steps back as they deny where they're going. So, I've testified about their subsidized enterprise. They get millions of dollars from our government. I've never figured out why. As a nonprofit, they make huge profits. We don't. We depend on voluntary donations from those who think like we do. Limited government, less taxes.
All right, people want more info on 60 Plus Jim Martin. Where do they go?
They can go to our website, 60plus.org, or they can call our headquarters. We're in Old Town, Alexandria, Virginia, 703-807-2070, to use the old-fashioned landline.
All right, 60plus.org. All right, Jim, thank you. Keep fighting a good fight. Jim Martin, 60 Plus. Go to 60plus with a P, P-L-U-S.org.